When you stop chasing, money comes. Quantum physics explains why. There's a profound paradox at the heart of wealth creation that most people never understand, and it's costing them years of struggle and potentially millions of dollars. The paradox is this: the harder you chase money, the faster it runs away from you. But the moment you stop chasing and start allowing, money begins flowing toward you with unprecedented ease. This isn't just philosophical wisdom or spiritual platitude. This is documented quantum physics, and once you understand the mechanics behind this paradox, your entire approach to money will transform forever. Here's the fundamental principle that changes everything: resistance repels, surrender attracts. Every time you desperately chase after money, every time you grasp and cling and force outcomes, you're generating resistance. And resistance creates a vibrational frequency that literally repels the very thing you're chasing. It's like trying to grab water with a clenched fist. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away. But when you open your hand and allow the water to rest in your palm, it stays effortlessly. Money works exactly the same way. The energy of chasing, forcing, and controlling creates energetic resistance that blocks the natural flow of abundance. The energy of allowing, trusting, and surrendering creates energetic openness that permits abundance to flow freely. In quantum physics, there's a principle called the observer effect, which demonstrates that the act of observation influences what's being observed. But here's what most people miss: desperate observation, watching, measuring, checking constantly, creates interference patterns that disrupt the quantum field. It's like constantly opening the oven to check if the cake is done, which lets out heat and prevents the cake from baking properly. When you're obsessively checking your bank account, anxiously watching for results, desperately trying to control how money comes to you, you're creating quantum interference that disrupts the manifestation process. You're collapsing the wave function prematurely in incomplete forms because your desperate energy is interfering with the natural unfolding. Surrender, on the other hand, doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean stopping all action or becoming passive. Surrender means releasing your grip on how, when, and where abundance will arrive. It means letting go of the desperate need to control every outcome. It means trusting the quantum field to deliver through the path of least resistance rather than forcing it through the path you think it should take. Surrender is actually the highest form of power because it allows the infinite intelligence of the universe to work on your behalf, rather than limiting manifestation to your finite understanding of what's possible. Think about the wealthiest people you know or have studied. There's a quality they all possess: ease. They don't chase frantically. They don't grasp desperately. They don't force outcomes anxiously. They have a relaxed confidence that money will come. And because of that confidence, money does come, often from unexpected sources and in unexpected ways. They've mastered the art of quantum allowing. They set clear intentions, they take inspired action, but they don't strangle opportunities with desperate energy. They trust the flow, and the flow delivers abundantly. Now contrast that with how most people relate to money. They wake up anxious about money. They check their account hoping for change. They desperately apply for jobs or clients. They force conversations and opportunities. They can't relax because they're terrified money won't come. They micromanage every detail trying to control outcomes. This desperate chasing energy is like putting out a massive lack signal to the universe. The quantum field reads that frequency and responds with more circumstances that match lack. Because the field is a perfect mirror, it reflects back whatever frequency you're broadcasting most powerfully. Here's what's fascinating. The moment you genuinely release the desperate need for money to arrive in a specific way or timeline, the moment you surrender control and trust the process, resistance dissolves. And when resistance dissolves, the natural flow of abundance can reach you. It's not that money suddenly appears magically. It's that your surrender removes the energetic blockage you were creating with your resistance, and the money that was always trying to reach you can finally get through. You've stopped being the dam that blocks the river. You've become the open channel through which the river flows. This is why people often manifest money right after they finally let go and stop trying so hard. They surrender to the process, they release the outcome, they focus on something else entirely, and suddenly money appears from unexpected sources. They get a call from an old client. they receive an unexpected refund. A new opportunity drops into their lap. Someone pays them back money from years ago. These aren't coincidences. This is the quantum field responding to the shift from resistance to allowance, from chasing to surrendering, from desperate control to trusting flow. The question is, can you surrender? Can you release your death grip on needing money to come now, in this specific way, through this particular channel? Can you trust that the quantum field knows the path of least resistance better than you do? Can you focus on alignment and allowing rather than forcing and controlling? This isn't about being irresponsible or not taking action. This is about taking inspired action from a place of trust rather than desperate action from a place of fear. It's about doing what's yours to do and releasing everything else. This shift from chasing to allowing is the key that unlocks natural abundance flow. The quantum mechanics of resistance and flow. Let's dive deeper into the actual physics of why resistance repels money and surrender attracts it. Because when you understand the mechanics, you can consciously shift from one state to the other. In quantum physics, everything is energy vibrating at specific frequencies. Your thoughts are energy. Your emotions are energy. Money is energy. All of these different forms of energy interact according to specific laws, and one of the most fundamental laws is that like attracts like. Same frequency resonates with same frequency. When you're in the energy of chasing, you're operating from lack consciousness. Chasing implies you don't have what you want and you're desperately trying to get it. This lack consciousness generates a specific frequency: low, dense, contracted, fearful. This is the frequency of scarcity, and it broadcasts into the quantum field like a radio signal. The field responds by attracting circumstances, people, and opportunities that match that frequency. So you attract more experiences of lack, more situations where money feels scarce and difficult, more evidence that you need to chase harder. You're creating a feedback loop that reinforces the very lack you're trying to escape. Chasing also activates your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response. When you're in survival mode, your body floods with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones are designed to help you respond to immediate physical threats, but they have devastating effects on your ability to create wealth. Stress hormones shut down the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for creativity, strategic thinking, and opportunity recognition. They narrow your focus to immediate threats and problems. They cause you to make fear-based decisions rather than vision-based decisions. Essentially, when you're chasing money desperately, your biology is working against your prosperity. Resistance also creates what physicists call destructive interference patterns. When you're forcing, controlling, and desperately grasping, you're generating energetic waves that clash with the natural waves of abundance trying to reach you. These clashing waves cancel each other out, creating blockages and delays. It's like swimming upstream. You're working incredibly hard but making minimal progress because you're fighting against the natural current. The harder you fight, the more exhausted you become, and the less progress you make. This is why people who chase money desperately often work incredibly hard but never seem to get ahead. They're creating resistance that cancels out their efforts. Now let's look at what happens energetically when you surrender. Surrender doesn't mean you stop wanting money or stop taking action. Surrender means you release the desperate attachment to specific outcomes and timelines. You shift from "I need this now" or "I'm doomed" to "I'm calling this in and I trust it's coming in perfect timing." This shift is subtle in words but massive in frequency. When you surrender, you move from lack consciousness into trust consciousness. Trust generates a completely different frequency: high, light, expansive, peaceful. This is the frequency of abundance, and it attracts circumstances that match it. Surrender also activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest, digest, and connect response. When you're in this state, your body produces completely different hormones: oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine. These are the hormones of well-being, connection, and creativity. In this state, your prefrontal cortex lights up. You become more creative, more intuitive, better at recognizing opportunities, more capable of strategic thinking. You make better decisions because you're not operating from fear. You see possibilities that were invisible to you in survival mode. Biologically, you become a prosperity-generating machine when you surrender the desperate chase. Energetically, surrender creates what physicists call constructive interference patterns. When you release resistance and allow natural flow, your energetic waves align with the waves of abundance in the quantum field. These aligned waves amplify each other, creating what feels like momentum or luck or perfect timing. You're swimming downstream now, still swimming, still taking action, but with the current rather than against it. The same amount of effort produces exponentially better results because you're working with universal flow rather than fighting against it. Here's another crucial piece of quantum mechanics. The universe abhors a vacuum. When you release your desperate grip on money, when you stop chasing and start allowing, you create energetic space. That space wants to be filled, and the universe rushes to fill it with whatever matches your frequency. If you've created space while maintaining high frequency, trust, gratitude, peace, the universe fills that space with abundance. This is why people often receive money right after they've genuinely let go of needing it. The letting go created space, and the universe filled it. There's also the principle of quantum entanglement to consider. In quantum physics, particles can become entangled such that the state of one instantly affects the state of another, regardless of distance. When you're desperately chasing money, you're in a state of separation. You're here, money is there, and you're trying to close the gap. This separation consciousness prevents entanglement. But when you surrender and recognize that you and abundance are not separate, that you're already connected in the quantum field, you create the conditions for entanglement. And when you're entangled with abundance, it moves toward you naturally without force. Understanding these mechanics gives you power because now you know that chasing and forcing aren't just ineffective strategies, they're actually counterproductive. They create the opposite of what you want. And you also know that surrender isn't weakness or giving up. It's the most powerful stance you can take because it aligns you with the natural laws of quantum flow. The question becomes, can you trust these laws enough to release your grip? Can you surrender the chase and allow the flow? The difference between surrender and giving up. One of the biggest misunderstandings about quantum surrender is that people confuse it with giving up, becoming passive, or not taking action. This confusion keeps people stuck in the exhausting cycle of desperate chasing because they're afraid that if they stop pushing so hard, nothing will happen. So let's get crystal clear on the distinction between surrender and giving up, because this distinction is critical to accessing natural money flow. Giving up is rooted in defeat and hopelessness. It says, nothing works, so why bother trying? It's a low-frequency state of resignation where you stop taking action because you've lost faith in the possibility of abundance. Giving up is passive, defeated, and energetically collapsed. When you give up, you're broadcasting a frequency of powerlessness and despair, which obviously doesn't attract abundance. Giving up is not what we're talking about here. That's not quantum surrender, that's just quitting. Surrender, on the other hand, is rooted in trust and power. It says, I'm calling in abundance, I'm taking aligned action, and I trust the universe to deliver in the perfect way and perfect timing. Surrender is a high-frequency state of confidence where you continue taking inspired action but release attachment to controlling exactly how, when, and where results appear. Surrender is active, empowered, and energetically expansive. When you surrender, you're broadcasting a frequency of trust and certainty, which powerfully attracts abundance. Surrender is releasing control while maintaining faith. That's true quantum power. Here's the practical difference. Someone who has given up stops taking action. They don't apply for opportunities. They don't follow up with leads. They don't invest in themselves. They sit back waiting for something to change while doing nothing. Someone who has surrendered continues taking action, but the quality of their action is completely different. They take action from inspiration rather than desperation. They follow intuitive nudges. They show up confidently in opportunities. They invest in themselves and their growth. But they don't obsess over outcomes. They don't check their bank account 15 times a day. They don't force conversations or manipulate circumstances. They do their part and trust the universe to do its part. Think of it this way. Imagine you plant a seed in your garden. Giving up would be planting the seed and then never watering it, never tending to it, just walking away and hoping something happens. Obviously, nothing will grow. That's not surrender, that's neglect. True surrender is planting the seed, watering it consistently, giving it sunlight, doing everything that's yours to do to support its growth, but not digging it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust the natural process. You do your part faithfully, and then you allow nature to do its part. You don't try to force the seed to grow faster by pulling on the sprout. You surrender to the timing while continuing to take responsible action. Surrender also means releasing attachment to specific pathways. Most people limit their abundance by deciding exactly how money must come to them. I'll get a promotion at work, or this client must say yes, or this investment has to pay off. When you're attached to specific pathways, you're telling the universe, it must happen this way or no way. This creates resistance because you're trying to control the infinite intelligence of the universe with your limited human perspective. True surrender says, money is flowing to me from expected and unexpected sources. I'm open to all the ways abundance wants to reach me. This openness removes resistance and allows the universe to deliver through the path of least resistance, which is often a path you never would have thought of. Surrender also means releasing attachment to timelines. Desperate chasing usually comes with a desperate timeline. I need this money by the end of the month or else. That, or else, carries fear frequency that blocks abundance. Surrender says, I desire this money and I trust it's coming in perfect divine timing. This doesn't mean you don't have goals or deadlines. It means you don't let fear of missing your timeline throw you into resistance. You maintain your vision while trusting the timing, even when the timing doesn't match your preference. This trust is magnetic to abundance. Here's what surrender looks like in practice. You set a clear intention for the money you desire. You get specific about the amount and the feeling you want to experience. Then you ask yourself, what's mine to do? What inspired actions can I take? You take those actions with full commitment and excellence. But after you've taken the action, sent the email, had the conversation, submitted the application, launched the offer, you release it. You don't obsess over it. You don't check compulsively for responses. You don't try to control the outcome. You've done your part. Now you trust the universe to do its part. And while you're waiting for that to unfold, you look for the next inspired action and you take that one too. Surrender is also about releasing resistance to what is. Most people create enormous resistance by fighting against their current reality. I shouldn't be in this situation. This is wrong. This isn't fair. Why is this happening? All of that resistance keeps you stuck in the frequency of what you don't want. Surrender says, this is where I am right now, and that's okay. I accept this moment without making it mean anything about my worth or my future. I'm using this moment as a launching point for where I'm going, not as evidence that I'm stuck. This acceptance releases resistance and allows movement. Another key aspect of surrender is releasing the need to figure out how. Your job is to know what you want and why you want it. Your job is to align your frequency with having it. Your job is to take inspired action when it presents itself. But figuring out exactly how it will all come together? That's not your job. That's the universe's job. When you try to figure out every detail of how your abundance will manifest, you're limiting infinite possibility to your finite understanding. Surrender says, I don't need to know how. I just need to stay aligned and allow the how to reveal itself. This is incredibly freeing, and it removes massive resistance. So the distinction is clear. Giving up is passive defeat. Surrender is active trust. Giving up stops taking action. Surrender takes inspired action without attachment. Giving up collapses energetically. Surrender expands energetically. Giving up broadcasts powerlessness. Surrender broadcasts confidence. When you truly understand this distinction, You can release the desperate chase without falling into passivity. You can be fully engaged in creating your abundance while fully surrendered to how it unfolds. This is the sweet spot where natural money flow happens. Practical practices for quantum surrender and flow. Now let's get into the practical application. How do you actually shift from chasing to allowing? How do you practice quantum surrender in your daily life while still taking action and pursuing your goals? These are the specific practices that will help you release resistance and open to natural money flow. These aren't complicated, but they do require consistency and conscious awareness to override your habitual patterns of control and force. The first practice is daily energetic release. Every morning, before you start your day, take 5 minutes to consciously release control. You can do this through a simple spoken practice. Today, I release my need to control how money comes to me. I release my need to control when opportunities arrive. I release my need to control who brings abundance into my life. I trust that the universe knows the path of least resistance better than I do. I surrender to divine timing and divine pathways. I am open, receptive, and allowing. Speak these words with feeling and genuine intention. Feel yourself energetically letting go of the tight grip you've been holding. This daily release practice trains your system to operate from flow rather than force. The second practice is the do your part and release method. This is how you maintain action while practicing surrender. Every time you take action toward your financial goals, send an email, make a call, submit a proposal, launch an offer, have a conversation, consciously do your absolute best in that action. Give it your full presence and excellence. But the moment the action is complete, practice immediate release. Say to yourself, I've done my part. Now I release this to the universe. Visualize yourself literally letting go of the outcome, handing it over to a higher power. Then redirect your attention to something else. Don't check compulsively for results. Don't obsess over responses. You've planted the seed. Now let it grow without digging it up every hour to check progress. The third practice is trust hour. Set aside 1 hour each day, ideally the same time each day, where you practice absolute trust in your abundance. During this hour, you're not allowed to check your bank account, worry about money, or think about how bills will be paid. This hour is dedicated to doing something that makes you feel abundant, alive, and joyful. Read something inspiring. Take a walk in nature. Create something. Connect with someone you love. Move your body. The specific activity matters less than the state you're cultivating. Complete presence and trust that everything is working out for your highest good. This practice trains your nervous system that it's safe to release vigilance and control. The fourth practice is reframing obstacles as redirection. When something doesn't work out the way you wanted, you don't get the job, the client says no, the opportunity falls through. Your habitual response might be panic, disappointment, or increased desperate effort. Instead, practice reframing. This is the universe redirecting me towards something better. This no is protecting me from a wrong path and opening me to a right path. I trust this redirection. This reframe keeps you in surrender and flow rather than resistance and force. It prevents you from spiraling into scarcity when things don't go according to your plan, and it keeps you open to unexpected pathways that might be far better than what you originally wanted. The fifth practice is gratitude for what's coming. Most gratitude practices focus on appreciating what you already have, which is valuable. But surrender-focused gratitude appreciates what's already on its way to you in the quantum field. Every day, spend 5 minutes feeling genuine gratitude for the money that's flowing to you, the opportunities that are appearing, the abundance that's making its way to you right now. Thank you for the money coming to me from expected and unexpected sources. Thank you for the perfect opportunities appearing at the perfect time. Thank you for the ease and flow of my financial life. This gratitude from the endpoint creates the frequency of having already received, which accelerates manifestation while keeping you in surrender rather than desperate need. The sixth practice is conscious calibration of control. Throughout your day, notice when you're trying to control outcomes. You'll feel it in your body: tension, tightness, urgency, anxiety. When you notice this controlling energy, pause and ask, what am I trying to control right now? Can I release this and trust instead? Then take 3 deep breaths and consciously release the need to control that particular outcome. You might need to do this multiple times per day, as your control patterns are deeply habitual. But each time you catch yourself and consciously release, you're weakening the pattern and strengthening your capacity for surrender. The 7th practice is allowing receiving. Many people block money flow not with their giving but with their receiving. They feel uncomfortable receiving compliments, help, gifts, or money. They deflect or minimize or feel they need to immediately reciprocate. This blocks natural flow because flow requires both giving and receiving. Practice receiving graciously. When someone compliments you, simply say, thank you, and let it in. When someone offers to help you, say, yes, I appreciate that. When money comes to you, receive it with gratitude rather than guilt or suspicion. This practice of allowing receiving removes a major blockage to abundance flow. The 8th practice is embracing, I don't know. When you don't know how something will work out, instead of spiraling into anxiety, practice saying, I don't know how this will work out, and that's okay. I don't need to know. I trust that the answer will reveal itself in perfect timing. This phrase releases the pressure to have all the answers and figure everything out from your limited perspective. It creates space for universal intelligence to work on your behalf. Some of the most abundant people I've studied are comfortable with massive uncertainty because they trust the process rather than needing to see the entire path before taking the first step. These 8 practices create a complete system for shifting from chasing to allowing, from resistance to flow, from desperate control to empowered surrender. They're simple but not always easy because they require you to act contrary to your conditioning. Your conditioning says, control everything, force outcomes, never let your guard down, figure it all out yourself. These practices say, release control, allow outcomes, trust the process, and let universal intelligence guide you. The practices work, but only if you actually practice them consistently. Living in quantum flow, when money comes to you. Now let's talk about what your life looks like when you've truly mastered the art of quantum surrender and natural flow. Because this isn't just about manifesting money, this is about transforming your entire relationship with abundance, success, and life itself. When you stop chasing and start allowing, when resistance dissolves and flow takes over, you enter a completely different reality. A reality where money comes to you rather than you running after it. A reality where opportunities appear effortlessly. A reality where synchronicities become normal and struggle becomes rare. In this state of flow, money starts appearing from unexpected sources. Someone you haven't heard from in years reaches out with an opportunity. A random conversation leads to a lucrative connection. Money you forgot about suddenly shows up. Refunds arrive unexpectedly. Clients find you without you actively prospecting. This isn't magic. This is the quantum field responding to your open, receptive, flowing frequency. When you stop broadcasting the desperate frequency of chase, you start broadcasting the magnetic frequency of flow, and the field delivers matching circumstances. Money that was always trying to reach you but couldn't get through your wall of resistance now has a clear path to you. You'll also notice that your decision-making becomes dramatically better. When you're in chase mode, you make decisions from fear and desperation. You say yes to wrong-fit clients because you need the money. You take jobs that drain you because you're scared to wait for the right one. You force opportunities that your intuition tells you aren't aligned. In flow mode, you make decisions from clarity and intuition. You have the patience to wait for the right opportunities because you trust they're coming. You say no to what doesn't fit because you know that saying no to wrong things opens space for right things. Your decisions become aligned with your highest good, which leads to exponentially better outcomes. Time starts feeling different when you're in flow. In chase mode, time feels scarce. You're always rushing, always behind, always trying to make things happen faster. There's never enough time. In flow mode, time feels abundant. Things happen in perfect timing. You're present with what's in front of you rather than anxiously racing to what's next. Somehow, you accomplish more with less effort because you're moving with divine timing rather than forced timing. This doesn't mean you become lazy or passive. It means you become strategic and intuitive about where and when to apply your energy for maximum impact. Your relationships transform in flow state as well. When you're desperately chasing money, you treat people as means to ends. You network with hidden agendas. You show up looking for what people can do for you. People sense this energy and it repels them. In flow state, you show up to genuinely connect, serve, and create value without attachment to immediate return. And ironically, this authentic presence attracts far more opportunities and abundance than desperate networking ever could. People want to help you, work with you, and send opportunities your way because your energy feels good rather than needy. You'll also experience increased creativity and innovation when you're in flow. Scarcity and desperation shut down your creative mind. You're in survival mode just trying to get through the day. But when you surrender and trust, your creative channels open wide. Ideas flow to you. Solutions appear easily. You see possibilities and connections that were invisible to you before. This creativity often leads to breakthrough opportunities and income streams you never would have thought of in your contracted, desperate state. Your best ideas come in flow, not in force. Another hallmark of living in quantum flow is effortless abundance. Not in the sense that you do nothing, but in the sense that your actions produce disproportionate results. You send one email that leads to a major opportunity. You have one conversation that changes everything. You launch something with minimal marketing that takes off organically. When you're in flow, you're aligned with universal currents that amplify your efforts. You're swimming downstream where the same amount of swimming takes you much farther, much faster. This is what people mean when they talk about being in the zone or in flow state. There's an ease and momentum that makes success feel natural rather than forced. Living in flow also means you develop unshakable faith. Not blind faith that ignores reality, but experiential faith that comes from repeatedly witnessing the universe deliver when you surrender and trust. The first few times you release control and watch things work out better than you could have forced, you start to trust. The more you trust, the more evidence the universe gives you that trust is warranted. Eventually, you reach a point where surrender becomes your default response to uncertainty rather than something you have to consciously remind yourself to do. This deep faith is incredibly magnetic to abundance because faith is one of the highest frequencies that exist. Here's what's beautiful about this way of living. It's sustainable. Chase mode is exhausting. You burn out. You hit walls. You deplete your energy reserves. You can't maintain that level of stress and force indefinitely. But flow mode is energizing. Taking inspired action from trust feels good. Allowing rather than controlling conserves your energy. Surrendering rather than forcing reduces stress dramatically. You can maintain flow mode indefinitely because it works with your natural energy rather than depleting it. This is how you create lasting prosperity rather than temporary wins followed by collapse. Let me paint a picture of what your daily life might look like in full flow state. You wake up feeling peaceful rather than anxious. You do your alignment practices and set your intention to stay open and receptive throughout the day. You take the actions that feel inspired without forcing or pushing. An opportunity comes up that you didn't expect. You say yes because it feels aligned, even though you can't see exactly where it's leading. You have a conversation that flows easily and naturally leads to a valuable connection. Money comes in from a source you weren't focused on. You make decisions quickly and confidently because your intuition is clear. You end the day feeling energized rather than depleted. You sleep well because you trust that everything is unfolding perfectly. This is flow. This is what becomes available when you stop chasing and start allowing. So here's my invitation to you. What if you stopped chasing money starting today? What if you released your desperate grip on needing to control how, when, and where abundance arrives? What if you trusted, truly trusted, that the quantum field is working on your behalf and will deliver through the path of least resistance? What if you focused all your energy on staying aligned, taking inspired action, and allowing the flow rather than forcing outcomes. What would change in your life if you made this shift? The physics is clear. Resistance repels, surrender attracts. Chasing creates interference patterns that block manifestation. Allowing creates constructive patterns that accelerate it. You've been taught to chase, to force, to control, to never let up. And that conditioning has kept you stuck in struggle. There's another way. A way that honors both action and allowing, both effort and ease, both doing and being. A way where money comes to you because you've become the open channel through which abundance naturally flows. Your abundance is not on the other side of more chasing. It's on the other side of surrender. It's waiting for you to release resistance and open to flow. Everything you need will come to you when you stop strangling it with desperate control and start allowing it with trusting surrender. The quantum field has infinite pathways to deliver your abundance. Your job is not to figure them all out. Your job is to maintain alignment, take inspired action, and trust the delivery system. Stop chasing. Start allowing. And watch how naturally money begins flowing to you. Welcome to Quantum Flow. Welcome to the abundance that comes when you finally stop running and allow yourself to receive.